Most tickets.
Okay, we're now joined by the Bama lightweight champion, Rob C4 Sinclair. It's been a while since we spoke, Rob. How's things been with you?
Things were going good up until a couple of weeks ago, but, I suppose I can say everything's going okay. Not too bad.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I mean, I haven't spoken to you for quite a while, so I'd like to talk a little bit about your last fight, obviously, and then we'll talk about what's been going on with you. So, first of all, congratulations on your win. It was a very, very tough fight. Obviously, we knew Andre winning was going to be tough anyway, but how did you feel the fight went?
I was very nervous going into the fight. I'd probably give Andre Winner a bit too much respect because of who he was, what he's achieved, what he's done, the experience he's got. I thought it would be a stand-up fight. I mean, I wanted to go to the floor a little bit more than what he did, but as the fight progressed, I felt more and more comfortable stood up. I sort of predicted that. I thought it was going to end really, really quick, or it was going to be drawn out. I didn't think it was going to be like a second, third, or fourth round stoppage. I thought either a first round or a decision. That's how I thought the fight would go.
Yeah, I think it just shows. I mean, when you get two high-level guys like that, it's not going to be a quick and easy knockout, and we see that a lot with all the top fights. So, obviously you're one of the top guys on the UK scene, if not the top guy. Andre Winner's one of the top guys. It was always going to be a close fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was a case of who implemented the game better, and if I'd have stuck on the outside of his shots, I could have been in for a painful night. But every time I threw a shot, I closed the distance quick, so he couldn't really get his shots off. So I'd either land and close the distance and clinch up, obviously throw the shot, miss, but still clinch up. So I weren't taking much damage at all. So my game plan probably paid off a little bit more in that particular fight.
I know it had been about 12 months since your previous fight. Was there any ring rush going in? How did you feel going in?
Yeah, I mean, when I go into a fight, I'm always thinking this is my last fight, because the nerves get to you, quite a bit. Especially when you find a guy who's ranked in the top 50 in the world, you know what I mean? Who's probably on paper, maybe expected to win. But it is nerve wracking, and the ring rush. It would have been a lot better if I'd got a couple of fights in before Andre Winner, because a year between fights. Looking at some people's fights, like the UFC and all that, they had two fights, 3 fights maximum a year. So it's pretty normal for them guys, but I'd rather stay active, because earlier on in my career, when I was active, I was a lot more confident, but I was very nervous in that fight because of that as well.
Yeah, it was a long layoff. I know there was obviously a lot of stuff going on, because we talked about it before, with fights being cancelled and arranged. Was it just a relief to just get back in there and actually get a fight after such a long... Because you were messed around quite a bit, wasn't you, with fights being cancelled and opponents pulling out and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, I had a bit of bad luck, really, in terms of the last couple of years with shows being cancelled, and I had a lot of pull-outs. I had 5 pull-outs on one show when Alex Reed fought Tom Watson. I had something like 5 pull-outs that particular fight, and I trained for that fight, and then there was no fight. I was actually injured, so it was probably a blessing in disguise. I'd done my ankle, so I was just going to box for it. But and then I started training for the one in Newcastle, which got cancelled, and then I had the long layoff. Obviously, with the show getting cancelled with Andre Winner. What frustrated me with me all was I never got told anything. I only had 6 weeks to prepare for Andre Winner, really. Because we were getting told, yeah, it's happening next month. I got 5 or 6 different dates that year, and it's hard to stay motivated and train. When you've got to start picking your training up. By the 7th or 8th month of training, I'd had enough. But I knew I had to carry on, because if I'd have had a couple of months off, and then obviously train for another fight, it'd have been another, a good 14, 15 months. So a bit of a blag, really, but yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it? It was. I remember we spoke to you before, and it was just nightmare. You didn't know whether you were coming or going with regards. Like you say, you got yourself prepared for a fight for a certain date, and that date would just disappear from underneath. It was just crazy, wasn't it?
It was, and sometimes I wasn't even getting told. I was hearing rumours on the internet that the show had been put back, and I was like, Jesus, man. I'm getting time off work, so I'm losing pay. I'm frustrating my bosses at work, because they're going, I'm saying, look, it's not going to happen this way. And, so they were getting a bit upset with me. My family life was affected by it, because I didn't get a chance to relax with the family on a holiday, because I was training all the way through, and it's just an absolute ball ache, to be honest. But I'm glad, sort of, in another way, if I had waited and fought Andre a couple of months later, I might have lost that one. So I suppose it worked out for the best in a funny sort of way.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we know you were due to fight number one contender, which was Kurt Warburton, who'd obviously been on a good, he'd had a good couple of wins, and then it's come out recently, obviously, that you've had to pull out with injury. Are you able to talk about what your injury is?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, then what is your injury and what caused it, and how long's your layoff going to be?
Well, I injured myself on the. It was 2 weeks this Saturday ago. And I was doing some plyos, jumping on and off boxes, and I'd done about a minute's worth of jumping on, and someone was doing a medicine ball slam drill behind me, and I actually thought they'd like chucked it and chucked it on my ankle, and I went down, and straight away I thought, shit, what's gone on? Because my friend Carl News just had the exact same injury, so I rung him up straight away. He said, "Can you come onto your tiptoes?" I said, "No." And he said, you've probably done something with your Achilles or your calf muscle. So I was like, Jesus Christ, because I know how long you can be out for. So I went to the hospital and I got messed around at Burnley Hospital. They sent me to Blackburn Hospital. I got messed around at Blackburn Hospital. I went to Preston Hospital. They was a lot more lenient with me and a lot more friendly, to be honest, than the previous two. And they still didn't want to operate on me with the Achilles problem. And fortunately, my physio knows one of the direct on the Chorley Preston board and put a good word in for me, and then 5 days later I operated on. So in terms of being out, I'm probably looking at about 2.5 months before I can train properly, 3 months before I can light jog. So I'm sticking to my diet. Soulmate Foods have helped me with my diet, so I'm going to keep my weight down and just try and rehab it. And I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to try and rehab and lose weight at the same time while I'm injured. To show it can be done, with a motivation. Absolutely,
yeah. So, roughly then, ideally, when would you like to get back in? If everything goes to plan, when would you like to get back in the cage?
Well, if I'm looking at 3 months to start running again, if that's what I'm looking at, hopefully I'm going to try and... Because I get the cast off in 2 weeks from the operation, so I get the cast off on the Monday, not this Monday coming up, and then they take the stitches out and everything. Then I get put in an air boot, like one of them big moon boot things, and I can start rehabbing it then with ice and heat and physio and everything like that. So I'm hoping as soon as I can walk on it, I can start doing like upper body stuff, and I can go on the bike and start. So I'm hoping summer.
That's not too bad then, is it? Obviously, it must be hard after. You'd obviously got your big. You got back in. You got the win. You were ready for your next fight. It was another big fight. You're going to be headlining Bama again, and then. So what is there? There's no implications for you with regards to your title, is there? That's still going to be your title. They haven't been asked to drop it. Or there's not going to be an interim title. It's still, you're still the Bama lightweight champion.
Yeah, well, no one's spoken to me. I spoke to the matchmakers, Jude Samuel, and he just said to me, look, he says, I'm going to talk to you from a coach point of view, not a promoter. He said, get yourself right just before you come back and defend your belt. So I said, okay, I appreciate that. And, I hope, well, it's a bit of a weird one, this, because I hope Kurt Warburton, sort of waits for me and doesn't take the fight. Or if he does take the fight, he wins.
Yeah.
Because, everyone wants to see me and Kurt. I want it to happen, he wants it to happen, everybody wants it to happen. It's a big fight, and if he loses on the next Bama, they might not let him fight if he gets matched up. So in a way, I want him to wait for me, but I understand if he doesn't. Of course he's got to pay his bills and everything. But that'd be my idea, that he waits, and we still give everyone the title shot that they all want to see. Summertime. That'd be ideal for me. But obviously, Kurt's got to do his thing and earn some money.
Well, from what obviously just from going on what I'm seeing, from what I understand, he is looking to take another fight. But but it's obviously a big risk for him, because again, if he loses the fight, he loses the title shot. There's no way they can give him a title shot coming off of a loss, I would have thought. But if he wins, obviously, he strengthens his case even more and probably promotes the fight even more for obviously you and Kurt to go for it. Obviously, hopefully in the summer. Yeah,
that'd be ideal if he took the fight and won, because he'd have a bit more hype behind him. Look, UFC have just done it with George St. Pierre, haven't they, and Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see that fight. Nick Diaz is coming off a loss, but they're still giving him the title shot. So anything's possible. If there's enough hype and enough noise, I'm sure even if Kurt lost his next fight, there'd still be a title fight soon.
Sorry, Rob. So we were talking about Kurt. So yeah, like you're saying, they've just done it with GSP and Diaz. So if there's enough hype behind the fight, you feel the fight will happen anyway. You've just got to be patient.
Yeah, and just think if Kurt loses the next fight, you know what I mean. I'd be still quite happy to fight the guy because he earned his title shot, and it's not his fault that this has happened. And if there's enough hype behind it, you know, and people still want to see it, and you know, it just proves that, like I say, with the Nick Diaz, Joseph, there's enough hype around it for him to fight. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, no matter which he takes a fight, wins it, loses it, whatever, man, it's back to that's all I'm focusing on after this injury.
Yeah, I think
he deserves it. You know, he won, so he deserves it.
Yeah, I think, and it'll be another good fight, another big name as well, another guy who's obviously fought in the UFC that would be, you know, good for you to get another victory over. So I hope that you get the fight. I mean, you've had such a bad run of luck. It'd be nice for someone to, you know, start to go your way a little bit, really.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like I've done, you know, a lot more than probably 90% of UK fighters. You know, all these people going on the Ultimate Fighter and then getting UFC contracts after, and all these people who know somebody and getting a UFC contract, or someone winning one fight and getting a big deal over there, or even Bellator. It's all bullshit. You know what I mean? I've done more than 90% of the people in this country. You know, whether you're Paul Daly, and your Michael Bispings, your Dan Hardys, Kerry Evans and Saxons. You know, I feel like I've done a lot more than a lot of people to deserve an international, you know, shot.
Yeah.
So,
well, you've dominated the UK scene, and you've dominated any top European fighters you face. You've dominated them as well. So it's one of those things I've never really understood. I mean, even when we talked 12 months ago, I've just never understood why it's never happened. To be honest with you, it's just something I've never been able to get my head around.
I don't know. I mean, you see, like you say, you've seen how many people have gone for the Ultimate Fighter show, and how many people have got contracts after, and they're not ready. You know what I mean? They're not ready for it, but they're still getting contracts. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, how many people are in the UFC now in any weight category, right? Of recent time, who you feel like have done more than what I've done on the UK MMA thing?
No, I agree. I mean, I'm pleased for those guys who've obviously made it, but I know, again, we spoke to a few of those guys. I know a lot of those guys that I've spoke with have obviously would be the kind of guys that would look up to you. I mean, Colin Fletcher, for example, he's a great guy, but he was obviously on the undercard of you being on the main event. So yeah.
Well, I mean, Colin Fletcher's a good guy and all that, and it may be like he'll probably admit himself that. I mean, the Ultimate Fighter Smashers, you know, it wasn't the greatest competitive series there was about. You know, I mean, some of them guys were bantamweights, you know, that we fought, and you know, they got contracts after that. And the people that have earned it, like your Paul Sassers, like your Terry Evans, your Michael Bisping, Paul Daly, and Dan Hardys, they have gone on to stay in the UFC simply because they worked their way up and earned that shot. You know, because they deserved it. You know, they've had the 15 fights and stuff like that, and they deserve it. But where other people, you know, maybe not deserving, but I suppose you know, right time, right place. But I'm not fussed about that. You know, I've got a good fight coming up. Kurt Warburton, Bama. You know, it's a great fight. That would make a UFC, Bellator, or former Strikeforce card.
I agree. Absolutely agree. Well, Rob, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. I mean, we've been lucky enough to have you on the show a few times. I'm sure we'll have you on again in the future. I hope everything goes well. I hope we get to see you in the summer. But before we let you go, would you like to do any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, and obviously let people know about your Facebook and Twitter as well?
Yeah. Well, my Twitter is at Rob C4 Sinclair. And Facebook's just Rob C4 Sinclair. So just check it out. I want to thank, Soulmate Foods. You know, they've been absolutely instrumental in me, you know, getting in tip-top shape. And hopefully they get a bit more coverage with Real Nutrition as well, my supplement sponsor. I've just signed with Bad Boy again now, so I'm happy with them. And, you know, Fight Shop, Predators, Smuggling Duds, Funky Gums. Glenn Slater, he's been a long time sponsor, and, you know, he's been absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? So, and my brothers and all my family, you know, who helped me through everything. So I got a lot of support from the whole of Burnley as well. It's surprising, really, because, you know, our little town, really, they don't like people doing well, but I'm getting a lot of support, so I'm very grateful to them as well. So, and everyone who supported me.
Yeah, well, we really, well, we really appreciate you coming on, and we really can't wait to see you back again fighting, hopefully in the summer, like you've said.